Howdy there, YouTube. Excited to bring you this episode, long awaited on my personal end, with the Hokkatsu Thunder Bee Sound Flash Grenades. So stay tuned as we explore the Thunder Bee together. An unboxing video? Nah, I wouldn't do that to you guys, although I literally am unboxing it. What is all this then? What are all these? What is this? What is all this stuff? Oh, some extras. I like extras. Well, looks to me like a whole bunch of fun just came out of this box. I don't think we need these right now, but we'll get to them in due time. This one looks like it's got the core in it. And as you haven't guessed, these are a whole bunch of Thunder Bee shells with a core. A single core, I might add. This was an auction that I picked up. And wasn't too bad a price considering the number of shells I got. So that's a whole bunch of testing and etc. This looks to be the heart of the matter. Got some instructions here. And there's some mods that I hear that you need to do right away to these. So I'm going to go ahead and get my drill out and we'll walk through together on where this drill hole placement thingy is supposed to go. So I got my drill here, but before I do that I want to make some observations of what I'm seeing here. This is my first go around with any of these airsoft grenades, so I'm kind of learning as you are seeing it. So it looks like you have to, this is a fairly stiff spring to get this striker back underneath the spoon. And once you do that, it exposes the pin there. I kind of like the safety feature of having the pin act as a safety in case for some reason the spoon gets bent. The striker can't hit the firing pin there. But this piece, black piece here, is rubber. And it descends into the body. So what I'm going to do on this one, and I don't know what you guys do, but I'm going to lube that thing up. Because if that thing is moving like that, there's a pretty good tendency that it could develop cracks from the cold of the CO2 passing at high speed through the valve. So I'm going to go ahead and get some Mad Bull white, or the clear grease, and I'm going to lube that sucker up. So I tore a little bit of the cotton off of a Q-tip, got some of this clear grease and just kind of jammed it in there. Kind of had the added bonus of getting the threads in there too, so a little bit of anti lock-in action. So then I noticed that in this directions here, it's got a really wide spacer that's supposed to go somewhere. But this is what you get. Kind of a thin piece of plastic. And I can tell you, I'm not going to be using these very long. I'll make some out of Teflon. So, and I'm supposing that that goes inside of here. Like I said, I don't have anyone to tell me or help me with this, so yeah, it doesn't fit inside there, so it must go in there. Alright, well, not much left to do now, but thread one of these bad boys on and blow it up. Okay, so there's already one of these in here. Just unthread this barrel nut. Just unscrew it and you can get to all that stuff without trying to jam it down in there like an idiot, like I just tried to do. So, don't do that. So here I got a copper head inside there. This one is unmodified, so I wanted to try to see how long it takes for one of these sound flash canisters to go off just as it sits. So we'll try it. I see nothing.
But those birds did get scared.
They did get scared. Huh. That's no cool. That's no fun.
Something's not right here.
No. I saw this alternative method where you hit the striker on something hard and then toss it. So I'm going to try that because I don't really want to take this full CO2 cartridge out of this assembly. Nothing. I got nothing. Well, so much for that idea. Okay, so it did appear that the CO2 went off, but I got nothing out of it. Okay, so now that that's an epic fail, I'll just go ahead and, since it doesn't work as specified, let's take a look at this thing. It's got a couple holes, comes out the side. I saw online you drill a hole in here, so I'm going to do that. This thing I'll lube up real good. It's obviously not functioning properly. So it pierced it, but it didn't detonate. It was cold, but it didn't work. So let me do a couple things here and we'll see if we can't get it working. Okay, so I got her back together, boobed it up, drilled my hole, chamfered it. I've got it right there underneath the shoulder. I guess you don't want to block it, you know, you don't want it underneath the body of the cartridge, but there it is right underneath the shoulder there. So we'll try this one. I'd say that's a leak, not a burst. Seeing some improvements though, I've got some swelling. So now what I think I'll do is score the shell. I've seen that also, and so we'll go ahead and try that. It's really kind of unfortunate that these things don't work out of the box. I don't understand what the deal is. You know, I see other people using them. I can't imagine that they're having these kinds of problems. Anyway, so let's try scoring and then we'll try it again. This is with the score marks now. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What the hell? I don't know. Okay, I've chewed it as well as I can. I got a bunch of Teflon tape on the top. And this is going to be another try. Alright, that's so much Teflon tape, it's going to be hard to unthread. So, we'll hope that works with the slits. That one worked. Finally. Okay. Well, I think we can work with that. So, after action report, looks like it's split along one of the slits. Go out the bottom. But that was an awful lot of Teflon tape put on there for sealing. So obviously that's didn't really have anything to do with the hole or banging the thing. What it had to do with are these are too tough. So they need to be pre-slit. Which I guess isn't too bad. I can deal with that. So anyway. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Maybe I'll think about it and come back and do the conclusion. So this is the original one that I slit. So I'm going to try it again with some Teflon tape. I guess that'll prove whether or not. I noticed that this one didn't fit as good. So I think there's some pretty radical variation in the quality control of these shells. Oh well, we'll give this one a shot again and see if the Teflon tape made a difference. Yep. So after action report, this one blew the shell clean off. That's going to be hard to get out. So I can see why people tape them. And I might try that on subsequent ones. But it's starting to grow on me. It's starting to grow on me. I'm starting to figure it out. So I'm not hating yet. So in conclusion, are they fun? Absolutely, undeniably. Do they need some work? Yeah, they need some work. You know, the hole increases the speed at which they explode, but the tape is what, you know, you got to have a seal against the top. And seeing as these are actually Hokkatsu and not Valken or Umarex or any of the modern ones, this was probably an early version. I know that they're up to version 2 here in the States, and I think they're up to version 3. I saw references to overseas. Don't quote me on that. But there's some safety things I'd like to bring up before you guys mess around with these, if you're not familiar. I have basic training with grenades, and even I have kind of a mental issues playing around with grenades because it's not something that should be played around with. So you can see in the video I've always got my finger on the pin holding it in. You know, I don't know. So I would just caution you when you're using these to think and act like an adult even if you're not one. Because these could really hurt you bad. You know, having these CO2s in here and threading them up against a sharp spike, I didn't really like that either. So make sure that the piece of rubber that's in here, mine came and it was way up inside so that it didn't seat properly. So this piece, make sure that it's seated all the way down, because if it's sitting up, it'll drive the cylinder into the spike before you want that gas escaping. So, you know, just some basic safety stuff. Also, I really like the Umarex Big Bang air targets where you put it on top of a 2-liter bottle, and those you can put like liquid or powder in. And I might try maybe a little bit of flour in the bottom of this, but the whole thing about that is now you're reducing the volume inside, so that the time that it takes for it to inflate and compromise the cylinder is reduced by a lot. So it might just blow up in your hand. So don't do that. It's not worth it. You're not going to use that in a field anyway, right? You're not trying to injure anyone at an airsoft game. And if you're using them at home for something other than their intended purpose, I could see them possibly for like a bear scaring device, or like for mountain lions or woodpeckers, something that you weren't allowed to shoot. And if they charge you, then you would have, you know, a valid excuse maybe. I mean, I'm not saying to do that by any means. But if there was, like, especially woodpeckers, because here where I live, you're not allowed to shoot them. But if you had some of these and you just kept tossing them out there every time you heard them pecking on your house, they'd probably find a better place to go and peck and put their acorns. So I just thought some of these safety tips and procedures are kind of funny. But like this one, select a target and find a safe place. Well, what about the target? You know, I don't know. So anyway, I hope you'd enjoyed this episode, and it was both frustrating and very fun. So I hope you got something out of it, and if you're considering buying one of these, just be aware that it's not going to work right out the box. That's just, airsoft. Just kind of the way that we've all had to grown to accept that the quality just isn't there anymore. And I'm not, like I said, I don't even think this is a modern one. I think this is an early one, so that doesn't bode well either. But anyway, kind of a fun thing. And if you enjoy these episodes, be sure to check out my other episodes and stay tuned for your extra content. And for today's extra content, kind of got a double purpose thing here. It's both military history as well as something that you can use today. So this is a Case M45 bore sight. It's for an artillery piece. And what's nice about it is it's waterproof, floats. So just like the other military stuff, it's plastic. And it's really well padded. As you can see there, it's got really good foam, both top and bottom, not that stuff that falls apart. So this could be used for transporting a camera or a GoPro into the field where, you were going to go over some rough, dusty, gnarly terrain and you wanted it to get there in one piece. And I got this one from Coleman Surplus, which is in Pennsylvania, and it's a pretty cool place to go and visit if you're ever around there. But I think you can find it probably a little cheaper somewhere else. I was just in the area, so I decided to buy it. But it's got a spring-loaded handle. So, not all that great, of a extra content, but what it is something useful that you can use instead of buying something super expensive. Because this probably cost the government $100 plus, and it's not going to cost you more than 30. Really nice, heavy duty. So, just remember that. Case M45 bore sight. There's the other number there if you need it for eBay or what have you. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.